Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the show that really commits to pulling apart those complex, maybe high-stakes worlds that you're curious about, turning all that background noise into something you can really understand.
And today, we're definitely stepping into a battle arena. A culinary one, sure, but still, an arena.
It's not just about the cooking, is it? It's strategy, it's pressure, it's statistics that actually show decades of dominance by one chef.
We are, of course, talking about Beat Bobby Flay, that Food Network institution. You hear the bell, the sort of light trash talk.
Yeah, between Flay and his friends, usually.
Exactly, and you see the challenger sweating it out against the clock. It's just pure TV intensity.
And the big question, the one we really want to tackle today, it's the one that, pops up online all the time, in forums, probably in your living room too. Is it actually a fair fight? Can any skilled chef realistically win? Or is this whole thing kind of, choreographed to make Bobby Flay look like the ultimate culinary boss?
Right. So our mission today is pretty comprehensive. We're going to unpack the whole format. We'll crunch the numbers, and there are a lot of numbers, 40 seasons worth.
Oh, over 500 episodes, yeah.
Over 500, yeah. We want to see his real win-loss rate. And I think most importantly, we're going to reveal some fascinating, maybe even surprising secrets about how it's actually made, especially that judging process.
The two-stage judging. Yeah, I'm keen to get into that.
Which happens totally behind the scenes.
And our sources for this deep dive, they're pretty solid. We're looking at decades of episode data, like we said, 40 seasons, 505 competitions.
Plus, we got insider accounts, people who were in the audience, former contestants, spilling the beans a bit.
And even Flay himself, right? His own thoughts on his toughest challenges.
Exactly. So this isn't just a quick summary. We're aiming for a real tactical breakdown of how this show works and why it keeps people hooked.
Okay, so settle in, maybe grab a snack, try to avoid anything too crunchy perhaps, and let's unpack the gauntlet that is Beat Bobby Flay. All right, let's start with the main stage, the theater of it all. Beat Bobby Flay, it's an American cooking competition taped with a live audience.
And they really lean into the theatricality, don't they? It feels deliberate. Like, it's high-level cooking, yeah, but also it's got the drama of a boxing match.
Totally. The bell, the set looking kind of like a ring.
That's key, I think, to why it works. The bell starting and stopping rounds, the bright lights, the stadium feel, and even bringing in celebrity guests, often friends of Flay's.
Yeah, to kind of stir the pot a little with the trash talk.
Exactly. It's all designed to ramp up the energy. It's meant to feel high stakes, like a spectacle.
And keeps that adrenaline going.
So the challenger's path,
yeah.
It's two distinct stages, right? First up is round one, the qualifier, the elimination round. Two challenger chefs get introduced, often by those celebrity guests you mentioned.
And they cook against each other. But the time is super tight, only 20 minutes.
And here's the first twist, the first real test. They have to use one main ingredient, chosen by Bobby Flay himself.
Ah, okay, so he sets the first hurdle immediately.
Right. It's usually something fairly common, but his choice is designed to, mess with any plans they might have had coming in. Forces them to think on their feet, show their basic skills under serious pressure.
And the two celebrity guests, they're not just chatting, they actually pick the winner of that round?
Yep. They decide who moves on, who gets the honor or maybe the stress of facing Flay in round two.
Okay, round two. The main event. This is where the power shifts a bit, doesn't it?
It does, and this is really important for the fairness aspect. The challenger who won round one gets to choose their own signature dish.
For both of them to cook.
For both of them. This is their shot, right? To play on their home turf, culinarily speaking, against his all-around expertise.
The clock gets longer here, 45 minutes. Still feels intense for a complex signature dish, though.
Oh, absolutely. And then it all comes down to the verdict. 3 judges. Blind taste test. Completely blind.
Yeah. Or supposedly completely blind. We'll get to that later.
We will. And the ending, it's always a bit of theater, too, isn't it? If the challenger wins, they get that big moment. I beat Bobby Flay for the cameras.
And if Flay wins?
He usually cracks a little joke, maybe pokes fun at the guests or the chef, and then kind of jogs off set. Maintains that playful dominance thing he does.
Okay, so that leads us right into the core of it. The numbers, the stats. We've got this huge data set, 40 seasons, 505 competitions. Looking at that really starts to challenge some common ideas about the show, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, 505 competitions is a massive sample size. And his overall record on the show comes out as 314 wins and 191 losses.
Wow, 314 wins out of 505. That's seriously impressive.
It is. If you calculate the percentage, it comes out to a very consistent 16.2% win rate.
62.2%. Sometimes you hear it rounded up to like 63%.
Yeah, depending on exactly when the count stops. But 62.2 is the solid number from that data set.
Okay, pause here, because this is where people jump in saying, see, it's rigged. He wins almost 2/3 of the time.
Right. And that's the knee-jerk reaction. But you have to flip the coin. Look at it from the challenger's perspective.
So if Flay wins 62.2%, the challenger wins the rest, which is 37.8%?
Exactly. 37.8%. That's the challenger's win rate, or Flay's loss rate, however you want to frame it. And that number is crucial.
37.8%. Okay, what does that mean in simpler terms? Like, out of how many battles?
It means the challenger beats him roughly 3 out of every 8 times they face off.
3 out of 8. Huh. That's actually more often than I think people realize. It's definitely not rarely, which is a word you hear thrown around a lot.
Far from rarely. Think about it if you're a challenger, going onto his turf, under those lights, with that pressure, winning almost 40% of the time. That's significant.
Yeah, if he was winning like 90% of the time, you'd absolutely question the whole format's credibility. But nearly 40%, that means there's genuine uncertainty almost 2 out of every 5 episodes. That keeps the tension real.
It's kind of the perfect balance for the show, isn't it? The 62.2% win rate keeps his reputation intact, keeps him looking dominant, which is part of the brand.
But the 37.8% loss rate means the competition itself feels legitimate. You tune in knowing there's a very real chance, like better than 1 in 3, that you'll see him lose.
That balance is probably why the show's lasted so long. It works.
So the dominance is undeniable statistically, but the chance for an upset is also genuinely there. It's not a foregone conclusion. Okay, we've got the rules, we've got the stats. Let's pull back the curtain now and talk about how this thing actually gets made. The production secrets. You mentioned the live audience, and apparently being in that audience is quite the workout.
Oh, it's a marathon. Definitely not a sprint. They typically film in these really intensive blocks. Sometimes they shoot 2 full episodes in just one day.
2 episodes? Wow, like a morning one and an afternoon one.
Exactly. Think about the coordination needed for that. And the sheer stamina from the chefs, the crew, everyone.
And the audience. What's their commitment like?
We've heard from people who were there. It's tough. You could be standing for up to 10 hours.
10 hours?
Yeah.
Stay.
Yeah, apparently. Maybe just one short break, like an hour for lunch. It's basically a full work day. And you're expected to be on the whole time.
On meaning?
Meaning high energy. The production team actively keeps the vibe up. Audience members mentioned being, nudged to cheer, make noise, keep that loud, frenetic atmosphere going that we see on TV.
Okay, so it's managed energy. Right. And what about the judges and guests? Are their lines totally spontaneous?
Not entirely.
Okay.
Sources say they get prompted a bit by the writing team just to, punch up some lines, make sure the banter hits, keep it entertaining. It's still real competition, but wrapped in very produced, high-octane theater.
Right. Now, logistics. This always bugs me with cooking shows. Round 2, the challenger names their signature dish. What if it's something super obscure, like, I don't know, some rare Amazonian fish preparation? How does the pantry magically have everything?
Ah, okay, this is a big one. The hidden prep time, or maybe ingredient pre-notification is a better term, it's key to the whole operation running smoothly.
So they know beforehand.
Yes. Contestants have to tell the producers what their potential signature dish might be ahead of time, sometimes weeks before filming.
Eeks. Okay.
This gives the team time to source everything, even really rare or specialized ingredients, and stock that amazing pantry we see. So no matter who wins round 1 or what dish they choose, everything needed for round 2 is already there.
That makes total sense from a production standpoint. But doesn't that give Flay's team a heads up? Don't they kind of know what might be coming?
Well, they know the possibilities, yes. But the primary reason for this pre-knowledge, besides pantry stocking, is actually about the judges.
How so?
Because they know the types of dishes that could potentially be cooked. Maybe it's specific regional Thai, maybe complex French pastry, maybe Southern Indian. They can select judges who are genuine experts in that specific cuisine.
So it ensures the blind judging is actually informed judging. Smart.
Exactly. It maintains the show's culinary credibility. The judges know what they're talking about for that specific dish.
Okay, back to round 2. 45 minutes on the clock. Challenger names the dish. We often see Flay kind of take a deep breath, look a bit stressed. Then there's this pause before they actually start cooking. How long is that pause, really, and what happens?
It's not just a dramatic beat. It's a crucial strategic window for Flay. The clock is stopped, and he gets about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Roughly. Less than a dozen minutes, but vital. He uses that time to quickly scan the pantry, see what's available, and basically come up with his game plan.
Wait, he doesn't know the dish until the challenger says it on camera, right?
Correct. He finds out live, just like the audience. So that 10-minute pause is his chance to rely on pure instinct, his experience, and figure out how he's going to tackle it. Maybe find his modern twist, his counter move.
10 minutes. For a chef like Flay, that feels like a significant advantage. If the challenger picks something super intricate they've perfected over years, giving Flay 10 minutes to strategize, that definitely tilts the playing field a bit, doesn't it? Challenges the idea of pure spontaneous cooking.
It absolutely does challenge it. But you could argue it's almost a necessary production element. Think about it. Without that brief pause, his loss rate might shoot way up, especially against hyper-specialized chefs.
Sure.
The show might become less about the master defending his title and more about, ambushing the master. That 10 minutes maybe balances out the challenger's advantage of picking the dish.
Fair enough. Okay, let's get to the bombshell. The big production secret. The thing that really changes how you watch the end of the show.
The truth about the blind judging, it's not what it appears to be on camera.
This is definitely the big aha moment, the judging process. It's actually twofold.
Twofold. How?
Okay, so first, immediately after the 45 minutes are up, the judges taste the dishes backstage, away from the camera.
Backstage? Why?
To taste the food when it's absolutely perfect. Still hot, fresh, plated exactly as the chef intended. This initial private tasting is where they make their actual decision, based purely on taste, texture, execution, right then and there. Whoa. Okay, so the judging we see on TV, with the banter, the critiques, the comments about, needs more salt or love the crispy rice, that happens later.
Significantly later. Sometimes 15, even 20 minutes later.
20 minutes? The food must be cold by then.
Often, yeah.
Wow.
Or it's lukewarm. Sometimes it's even slightly replated or tidied up for the cameras. The crucial point is, by the time the judges are giving their comments on camera, they already know which dish they preferred.
They already know the winner.
They already know the winner. And they often know exactly what comments they're going to make to build suspense or justify the decision they've already made privately.
That is huge. So they still don't know who cooked which dish. When they're talking on camera, the blind aspect of identity is maintained.
Correct. They maintain that part of the blind.
But the actual judgment, the core decision based on the food at its best, happened off camera minutes ago. The on-camera stuff is performance, theater.
It's essentially televised justification and drama building. It's a clever compromise, really. You need the culinary integrity of judging fresh food, but you also need the time to set up cameras and create a dramatic reveal for TV.
Wow, okay. Mine's slightly blown. And related to presentation, the extra plate, we always see them make 4 plates, but there are only 3 judges. What's plate number 4 for?
Purely for the camera. That 4th plate is for the solo glamour shots.
Ah, the food porn shot.
Exactly. The close-ups, the slow-mo spins. Production needs a pristine, untouched plate for those beauty shots you see right before the winner is announced. It often looks way better than the plates the judges actually ate from.
Makes sense. Okay, last production point, the time lag. The show feels immediate, but filming happens way before we see it, right?
Oh, yeah. Sources consistently point to a really significant delay. It could be anywhere from 6 months up to over a year between taping and the episode actually airing.
A year. Imagine beating Bobby Flay and having to keep that secret for a year.
Exactly. We found a specific example. A chef beat Flay with vegan cheesesteaks, which sounds amazing, by the way.
Right.
And they had to wait almost a full year for that episode. Season 32, episode 413, Glazer-focused, to finally broadcast.
And someone who went to a taping in 2024 mentioned they were still waiting for it to air. So yeah, the victory you watched tonight, that happened a long, long time ago. Okay, so we know the rules, we know the studio secrets. Now let's get inside Flay's head. The strategy. We have to talk about the Flay factor, right? His style is so recognizable.
It really is. And for viewers, and maybe even the judges sometimes, it feels like a double-edged sword, especially with that blind judging we just talked about.
Yeah, people online constantly say they can guess his dish just by looking at it or hearing the description. Because his flavor profile, his go-to ingredients, they're so consistent.
He definitely has a culinary signature that's hard to hide, even when he's supposed to be cooking someone else's signature dish.
So what are the dead giveaways? The Flay trademarks that just scream, Bobby was here.
Oh, the list is pretty legendary at this point. Number 1, probably, crispy rice.
Always the crispy rice.
Almost always. Used for texture in places you wouldn't expect. But also, his love of heat. You see a lot of Calabrian chilies, serrano peppers.
Southwestern touches, too, right? Certain spices, maybe a smoky element?
Definitely Southwestern vibes.
Yeah.
And sometimes really specific things, like using anchovies for umami, or even scooping the bread out of a sandwich to up the filling to bread ratio.
It's funny, the show itself leans into it now, like Sonny Anderson famously yelling at him about the crispy rice.
Yeah, she even gave him that huge neon sign joke, "No more crispy rice."
It's so baked into the show's identity now.
It is. But it raises the strategic question. If his style is so obvious, how does he still manage to win 62.2% of the time? Which brings us to his main tactic, what critics often call flavor over tradition.
Okay, unpack that. Flavor over tradition. What does that mean in practice? Like when he's faced with a dish he doesn't really know, well, say something super traditional from a specific culture or maybe a delicate pastry.
The core idea is that Flay rarely tries to beat the specialist at their own authenticity game. If he doesn't know the dish inside and out, instead of trying to replicate it perfectly and maybe failing,
He pivots.
he pivots. He makes a calculated decision to create a dish that is, above all, incredibly flavorful, modern, maybe technically impressive in its own way, even if it strays pretty far from the traditional recipe the challenger named.
So, example. Challenger picks an authentic, rustic Italian grandmother's pasta recipe. Flay might come back with, like, a deconstructed version, maybe using similar ingredients but with goat cheese. His Calabrian chili oil served really clean and modern.
Exactly that kind of move. The challenger is playing the authenticity card, banking on tradition and technique. Flay is playing the, wow, this tastes amazing right now card.
And this works because of the judging criteria, or lack thereof. They're just asked which dish tastes better, right? Not which dish is the most faithful representation.
Precisely. And that's where some viewer frustration comes in. You might see judges critique the challenger's authentic dish for being, say, a bit heavy or the texture's rustic, when that's part of the traditional dish.
While praising Flay's version for being bright or exciting, even though it's not really the dish that was called.
Right. Flay is playing to win on immediate palate impact within that 45-minute window, not necessarily to replicate culinary history perfectly.
It's a smart strategy, though. High risk, maybe, but high reward. If he knows the dish well, steak, tacos, burgers, he can win on technique and execution.
But if he doesn't know it, he shifts to winning on pure flavor, modern twists, substitutions, banking that the judges will prefer the more dynamic, even if less traditional, taste experience.
Still, even with this strategy, he does have weaknesses. There are types of dishes that consistently show up in his loss column, his culinary kryptonite, if you will.
Oh, definitely. The data shows patterns. He tends to struggle, and sometimes lose, against dishes that require really specific, culturally ingrained techniques that take years to master, or things that need precision way outside his usual style.
Like what specifically?
Complex Indian food often trips him up. Think specific tandoori methods or intricate spice blends. Certain Asian cuisines, too, like a truly authentic pho, complex Thai curries, or hyper-regional street foods like jianbing.
Jianbing, yeah, we'll come back to that one.
And in the big category, baking. Anything involving precise doughs, lamination, pastry work, that's often not his strong suit.
Why those areas? What's the common thread?
Well, the Indian and Asian examples often rely on details like precise marinating times, specific spice tempering, maybe fermentation, things that are hard to just wing in 45 minutes, even with a 10-minute planning pause.
Right, it's deep knowledge.
And baking and pastry. That's almost the opposite of Flay's improvisational flavor instinct style. It's chemistry. It's science. It demands following ratios and temperatures exactly. Less room for his usual savory, spicy riffing.
And we have that perfect Jianbing example, don't we? The Chinese street food crepe from season 25.
Yeah, episode 308, Going Global. He flat out admitted on camera, I've never heard of it. It was a total blind spot.
So what did he do? Faced with something requiring a specific dough technique?
His instinct kicked in, but in the wrong direction. He basically made a brunch burrito.
A brunch burrito instead of Jianbing.
Yeah, it was a complete departure. The challenger obviously nailed the authentic technique. Flay lost that one decisively. It really proved that when he's truly unfamiliar with both a flavor profile and the core technique, even that 10-minute pause isn't always enough.
Okay, so that brings us to a fascinating confession from Flay himself.
Yeah.
About the toughest challenge, the hardest ingredient he ever faced. You'd think it would be some super exotic, rare thing, right?
It would. Something like sea urchin or durian, maybe.
But no, his answer actually comes from his Iron Chef days, not even beat Bobby Flay, and the ingredient was surprisingly simple.
Yeah, he confessed the hardest secret ingredient he ever had to build a whole 5-course menu around was the humble onion.
Yeah, onion. Seriously, that feels wrong. Doesn't he use onions or shallots in practically everything savory he makes?
He does. But that was the problem. The Iron Chef Challenge wasn't just about using onion as a background flavor. It was about making 5 distinct, amazing dishes where the onion was the absolute star, the focal point.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't the difficulty of cooking onion, it was the pressure to be incredibly creative and versatile with it across 5 courses.
Exactly. He said he basically failed that battle because he couldn't elevate the onions efficiently in every single dish, especially pushing it beyond its typical savory role.
And he lost that Iron Chef battle, right? Season 2, Episode 7, to Michelle Bernstein.
He did. And what sealed the win for her? She successfully took the onion into dessert territory.
Onion dessert. Wow.
Yeah, she made a sweet onion tart and a sweet onion Napoleon. Really creative stuff. It showed that versatility was the key, and that's where Flay stumbled.
So what does that tell us? It suggests that beating Flay, or at least really challenging him, isn't necessarily about finding the weirdest ingredient on Earth.
No, it's about forcing him into a culinary corner where his go-to savory, spicy Southwestern instincts don't quite work. Like forcing a common ingredient into an uncommon application. Like dessert.
Find the simplest ingredient, make him turn it into pudding. Got it.
Seems to be the lesson there.
Okay, so from the pressure cooker of the Food Network studio to Broadway, we have to end with this slightly wild, forward-looking detail about where Beat Bobby Flay might be heading.
Yeah, this is pretty unexpected. Apparently Beat Bobby Flay, the musical, is actually in development.
Yeah.
For Broadway.
A musical. How about a cooking competition show?
I know, right? It sounds kind of out there, but they're actively working on it. Taking the tension, the competition, the big personality, and putting it on a major stage with songs and dancing.
It's certainly ambitious. Does Flay have any thoughts on who should play him?
Oh, he does. He's publicly thrown a name out there. His wish list pick, Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. Okay. Why JT?
Flay's reasoning was pretty straightforward.
Huh?
He can sing, he can dance, he can do it all. He clearly sees the role needing that kind of multi-talented performer.
I mean, it kind of fits the whole performative aspect of his TV persona, doesn't it? The swagger, the energy.
It really does. It connects back to that inherent theatricality we talked about earlier. So who knows? Maybe soon we'll be seeing jazz hands, high kicks, maybe a big tap number about Calabrian chilies.
And a giant neon "No More Crispy Rice" sign descending from the rafters.
You never know. It would be the ultimate evolution of food entertainment.
Well, this has been a proper deep dive, hasn't it? Into the stats, the secrets, the strategies of Beat Bobby Flay. We've definitely unearthed some essential intel. Hashtag tag outro.
Yeah, we covered a ton. But I think the key things to remember for you watching at home, first, the competition is real. Challengers win almost 30% of the time. That's significant. It's not fixed.
And second, that backstage judging secret. It totally changes how you view the end of the show, knowing the real decision happens off camera when the food is perfect.
Right. The on-camera part is more about explaining the why for TV. And third, his vulnerability isn't always about exotic ingredients. Sometimes it's about being forced out of his comfort zone, like with that simple onion in a dessert context.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener or the viewer? Well, now you get the strategy right. You see the challenger deciding, do I go full traditional or do I try to beat Flay at his own spicy modern game?
Yeah. And thinking about that Broadway show, if Justin Timberlake does end up playing Flay, what dish would be the ultimate showstopper for Beat Bobby Flay, the musical?
Ooh, good question. Something that combines tradition, spectacle, maybe a little Flay spice, and a surprising twist. What dish would you choose if you had to beat musical Bobby Flay on the grand stage?
Something to chew on. Keep that in mind next time you watch the show. You'll see the tactics, the judging performance, all those subtle dynamics with completely new eyes now.
Definitely. That's it for this deep dive.